he will do soon.
Yeah, if you could pick the result of the fight, what would you want to happen?
A McGregor destructive first round KO where we're saying, what does happen if he fights Makhachev? What does happen if he takes on Oliveira or Ilia Topuria? That's kind of the best case scenario from this, is that we can go into discussions about him legitimately competing at the top again. What do I think is going to happen?
No.
I don't think he's going to score a first round KO. And if he doesn't score a first round KO, I think Holloway's going to piece him up and finish him in round 3 or 4. And Holloway's going to be back on top. And, BMF belt conversations, him Gaethje, him Topuria rematch. There's going to be all kinds of discussions.
Yeah, I mean, like, Conor is so composed. And when he looks at this fight with Max Holloway, they're like, okay, Max isn't going to wrestle me. He's not going to chop my sticks. He's not going to kick my legs. He's not a crazy hard puncher. So he probably looks at this fight like this is, and I know his team was asking for 3 rounds. They ended up saying, hey, no, it's got to be 5 rounds. But God, I'm trying to see a world where Max actually finishes Conor without Conor like hurting himself or something or rolling his ankle. But it's not like Max is like a big power puncher. How do you think he could finish him? You think Conor would just literally pucker out and fold?
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, that's what I do think. I think McGregor isn't a 5-round.
Guys, it's Conor McGregor fight week. I want everyone to hit a little nose latte in celebration of Conor McGregor's return. Notorious! Versus Max Holloway. That's tough for me. I want to see Conor win, but I hate seeing Max lose. Max just fought. He's coming off a fight. BMF title over Charles Oliveira. Got taken down. That's a lot of talk. Is Conor McGregor going to try to wrestle against Max Holloway? Absolutely not. 0% chance his game plan is to go in there and wrestle. And that's my opinion.
Now, in that 5 years where Conor's been away, Max Holloway has been fighting the very best talent that is available, the best fighters in the world, and oftentimes beating them. Like, for example, his last fight, or his last victory, should I say, was against Dustin Poirier, the man that beat Conor not once, but twice in a row. Yes, for the BMF, he lost his BMF belt, which he took off Dustin Poirier, but he lost that to Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira took him down, okay? Simple as that. Took him down, took his back, right? Tried to choke him out. No shame in that. But Conor McGregor isn't going to do that. He hasn't got that kind of style. But when you look at the opponents that Max was fighting, we've got Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje. Remember, he knocked him out cold, and he's also the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. And Justin Gaethje has got all the belts: the BMF champ, the interim belt twice, the undisputed belt, and now, of course, as we know, the Freedom 250 belt. So Justin Gaethje's been there, done it, got the t-shirts, got all the belts, and got knocked out cold in spectacular fashion by Max Holloway. Before that, Chang Sun Jung, the Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen, Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, the man has fought a who's who of...
How do we get to Conor beats Max? How do we get there? We just hope. I hear the term, and I've heard the term since 1993. I swear to goodness, it's one of the reasons I've made more money than any other fighter in announcing. I swear to goodness. Is because I don't ever say there's a puncher's chance. And I don't just mean that I don't use the word. I don't say stupid. Like, that's a kind of guy. It is a common person. That is a very common phrase to use. I swear to God, I've had so many people ask me, how'd you get into broadcast? I know I'm making myself sound like a jerk right now, but I'm telling you a true story. I swear it's somewhere along the lines that I would never say he has a puncher's chance. And you want to know why I would never say that? There is no such thing. And that isn't literal. But goddamn, it's close. Who do you want to say had a puncher's chance? What do you want to do? You could bring in Ray Mercer versus Tim Sylvia. You could. You could talk about Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. I think that you'd be appropriate to talk about Foreman and Moore. Oh, and by the way, if you're a big fight expert, you could probably add another couple to the list. But fighting's the world's oldest sport, not to mention it goes on every single Saturday. And I had a hard time coming up with 5. So, is that what you hang your hat on? of how Conor's going to win?
Only days remaining before Conor McGregor and Max Holloway get into the cage again, all kinds of opinions are being thrown around the world of MMA. Everyone in the sport, be it the fighters themselves, former champions, or coaches, is having their say about whether McGregor can go back in time or if Holloway's pressure, speed, and experience are too hard for him to cope with. As the big day approaches, there are more and more people voicing their opinions about who will have the biggest victory of their life.
But is he going to come back after 5 years off after breaking his leg, walks back into the sport at the highest level, and defeat Max Holloway by first or second round KO? Are we in a fucking fairy tale? Are we in dreamland? Surely there's no way that fucking happens. That would be shocking to me. After all that he's done in the 5 years off, this guy ain't been in the gym every fucking day. He's not been hustling to improve himself and just... If Yuri dipped for 5 years, I'd be fucking terrified for his next opponent. Because I know that dude's sitting in a dark room and training in the fucking woods for 5 straight years, developing his fucking game. I'd be shitting bricks for his next opponent. Conor McGregor... sailing around the world, this business, that business, this allegation, that allegation, this court case, that court case, this drama, that one. This headline, that headline. This picture of him hanging a weight off of his dick, that picture of a weight hanging off of his dick. I don't know if McGregor's getting this one done.
Chael Sonnen is among the most vocal experts who made a prediction on the Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway rematch and offered one of the toughest ones ever, stating his reason behind him struggling to envision McGregor's route to victory. As explained by Sonnen, while he has been looking into what McGregor would need to do in order to shock everyone, there are too many things that Holloway has done to make it impossible. In particular, he stated that McGregor cannot count on beating Holloway by decision, submission, and even taking him down and controlling him with grappling.
I've never ever made a secret of it. I'm a massive Conor fan, but I'm also a massive Max fan. You know, Conor started coming up when I was just starting out my pro career. His UFC run started. So he was a guy that I genuinely looked up to as I progressed in the sport. Imagine this. Imagine Conor beating Max Holloway and getting that title shot.
I think if there's one guy who can rip up the script, it's Conor McGregor.
As he's done so many times.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Mac. I'm never going against it. I'm never going against Conor. Yeah,
Okay.
No matter against. Like Max Holloway, massive fan, love him. He's a great fighter, and you know he's a deserving of everything that he's gotten and all the praise. But I can't go against Conor.
Where do you think Conor could win the fight?
You know, Conor has that scary timing. He has that scary timing. Everybody that's fought him says that.
Yeah.
That timing, and he has that sneaky power. Everybody that fights him says when he hits you, you feel it.
Yeah.
You know, it just takes one. It just takes one. Ilya knocked out Max. You know, it can be done.
Yeah.
Although there are still doubts regarding his comeback, Brendan Schaub is convinced that McGregor is more than just a great fighter. Schaub pointed out that Conor was able to become a one-of-a-kind generational star because of his confidence, charisma, and spectacular performances. From the time of Mystic Mac to his bold predictions and big-time showings, McGregor made a huge impression on everyone.
I'm Conor. I'm a little tight that everyone feels the way that they feel about Conor. I'm a little tight about it. Not giving him a shot. Everyone's saying this, this. I'm a little, yeah. He took 5 years off, but I'm a little tight about that. I don't understand why everyone's just like, oh, this man ain't nothing. Nah, he is something. I would have liked this to be a 3-rounder for him coming back and not a 5-rounder. I would have loved a 3-rounder, but...
You're right. You're right. You're fucking right. I didn't even think about that. You're so right, dude.
Mm-hmm. Because I think a 3-rounder for Conor, I think he's sharp enough to convince. Like Henry, we know because we've been there. We know that championship rounds, a lot changes. When you get to that third one, you're like, oh, I'm done. Nope, you got 2 more. That's when the thoughts start to waver. That's real championship rounds where you got to really dig here. And
Yeah.
for 3 rounds, I think Conor, yes, he's sharp enough and he's powerful enough in his mind that he could will himself through those 3. It's those extra 2 that really separate the men from the boys. So, man, I'm I'm excited, but I just didn't like the way that everyone's counting him out here. I didn't like that. And listen, I love Max. I'm a big Max fan, but I just don't like the way.
Also, not everyone feels that McGregor's extended absence is a negative factor. Michael Bisping, for example, feels that the time away from competing could actually be beneficial to McGregor, as his body will have had a chance to rest after all the intensive training and fighting at the elite level for several years now. According to Bisping, a lot of the damage incurred by the fighters occurs during their pre-fight preparation, which is highly demanding both physically and mentally. Thus, having remained active but not being involved in rigorous training for an extended period of time, McGregor could come back feeling like he's never been before.
I can't see a way for Conor to get the jump on Max. I'm trying to make one. I can tell you a whole lot of things that he can't do. I can tell you a whole bunch of things that Conor cannot do. But I'm trying to find the one thing that he can. I mean, I would tell you as clearly as I know how to stake a reputation. He cannot win a decision. I'm not telling you that he won't. It's very different words. I'm not saying to you Conor McGregor won't win if it goes to a decision. I'm telling you he can't. It's very different. I'm telling you he can't submit Max. I'm telling you he can't round and pound for a positional scorecard victory of rounds. Max can't do it.
While Bisping thinks McGregor might actually benefit from the extended layoff period, he feels there are some big issues that still await him within the confines of the octagon. From a stylistic standpoint, Bisping thinks that McGregor's opponent can cause a lot of trouble for him with his aggressive style and non-stop output. Bisping stated that while Max might not be famous for knocking out his opponents with one punch, his ability to throw many punches, take down his opponents, and ramp up the pressure toward the end of the fight make him quite dangerous.
Slowfit, can you pinpoint what exactly makes Conor this generational megastar? What does he have to do that will, or will that never be replicated? There's simply nothing like a McGregor fight week. Pinpoint what exactly makes Conor this generational megastar. It's hard to say one moment. It's an accumulation of things, and this whole it's kind of gone now, but the whole Mystic Mac thing, and it was just this Irish. He looked the part. He was the best on the mic we've ever seen. He told us what he was gonna do, and he did it. And it was at a time where it was just really, really special. Really special. And the UFC catered to this stardom of Conor McGregor.
With all the uncertainties associated with the return of McGregor, the emotional aspect has also been hard to overlook. As pointed out by MMA Guru, watching Conor return has brought him back to times when Conor became his biggest reason for falling in love with MMA. Although MMA Guru cannot deny how exciting and energetic Conor's return is, he still finds some uncertainty in its possible outcome. Even though he wants Conor to succeed, MMA Guru ultimately believed that Holloway was going to win the fight with a late round TKO.
McGregor, yes, he has been out. But if you ask him, that's time away, resting his body, less wear and tear. He's almost 38 years old, okay? So 5 years away would do you good. 5 years away from getting taken down and having people pull on your neck, and just the mental stress, the physical stress of going through the training camps, right? The fights are one thing. All the injuries happen in the training camp. That's why you always hear fighters talk about, well, I wasn't really 100% going into that fight, because yeah, the 8-week training camps and the lifestyle of training year round, it is hard on the body. McGregor's been off promoting bare knuckle FC, doing it very, very well, making money outside of the octagon. Another thing that he does extremely well. The man's absolutely loaded, we know. He ain't coming back.
Following the above line of thought, the MMA Guru said that the only way forward for McGregor is to look out for a quick knockout in order to win. It is very clear to him that knocking out Holloway early in the fight will be an extremely tough job, considering the fact that he is a durable competitor. Despite the obvious risk of power from McGregor at welterweight, he wondered if Conor can come back in 5 years, deal with an injury, and immediately beat Holloway, who is one of the best fighters.
Out of his mind. Do we think that he can do this? Because when you look at the stylistic matchup, right, it's going to be dangerous for Conor McGregor. Max Holloway, he calls himself the best boxer in the UFC. Max Holloway doesn't have that one-punch knockout power, but he wears people down. And that's why it's Max Holloway that in the final 10 seconds, that's why he points at the ground, not at the start of the fight, not in the first 10 seconds like Ilia Topuria wanted to do. He doesn't do that because he's not a knockout artist. But when he's landing hundreds, if not thousands of punches in a fight, and he's wearing you down over 5 rounds, in those last 10 seconds, yeah, when you're beaten to a bag of shit, he's very confident that he can knock you out. Like against Justin Gaethje, it was that spinning back kick right to the face at the end of round 1. That really started the decline for Justin Gaethje. But then he just picked him apart, used his length, used his footwork, used his reach. Beautiful combinations, of course, threw that spinning back kick a bunch of times as well. And then in the final 10 seconds, got the knockout. One of the craziest knockouts that the sport has ever seen, okay? So that's the danger for Conor McGregor.
Adding a further perspective to the prediction discussion, Demetrius Johnson is of the opinion that the transition to the welterweight division may not necessarily give McGregor an edge as expected by many people. In the view of Johnson, although McGregor may continue to possess lethal power in the welterweight division at 170 pounds, such power is likely to reduce as the fight goes on due to the toughness of his opponent, Holloway. Moreover, Johnson is of the view that both fighters have much to gain from the transition because there will be no need for either of them to cut down any hard weight. While many are backing Holloway, Dricus du Plessis is standing firmly behind McGregor. The UFC champion admitted that he has always been a huge admirer of Conor and simply cannot bring himself to pick against him. Du Plessis believes McGregor's biggest weapons are his elite timing, unpredictable shots, and the power that has allowed him to surprise some of the best fighters in the world. He also pointed to Ilia Topuria's knockout win over Holloway as proof that Max can be stopped, giving him confidence that McGregor still has a dangerous path to victory. Meanwhile, Sean O'Malley believes the biggest weapon McGregor brings into the fight is not just his striking, but the confidence that has defined his career. O'Malley explained that Conor is at his most dangerous when he enters the octagon calm, fearless, and willing to pressure his opponent from the opening seconds. He expects McGregor to use his movement, kicks, and signature timing to create openings for his powerful left hand. However, O'Malley also warned that Holloway's durability could make things difficult, as Max has always been willing to take risks and exchange shots because of his incredible ability to absorb punishment. However, not everyone believes McGregor's chances should be dismissed so quickly. Kamaru Usman understands why many analysts are leaning toward Holloway, but he feels the conversation has become too one-sided. Usman explained that over 3 rounds, Conor's precision, power, and ability to stay composed could make him a serious threat. The former champion believes the biggest question comes in the later rounds, where the pace and physical demands can completely change a fight. While Usman remains a fan of Holloway's skills, he believes counting McGregor out ignores the qualities that made him one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. Reacting to Usman's comments, Henry Cejudo agreed that McGregor should not be completely counted out, but he also questioned the excitement surrounding his return. Cejudo pointed out that unlike previous comebacks, this one has not created the same level of anticipation among fans, with many already expecting Holloway to win. He noted that the long 5-year layoff and the betting odds reflect how much the public has shifted against Conor. However, Cejudo still highlighted Holloway's strengths, explaining that despite past setbacks, Max has shown smart movement and tactical adjustments that could play a major role in this matchup. Who do you think will come out on top when Conor McGregor and Max Holloway finally collide? Let us know your prediction in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more fight updates, breakdowns, and the latest news from the world of MMA